As we guys get older, our bodies start to not work so well. Our muscles get soft, our joints start to ache, and our minds lose focus and clarity. And for all too many of us guys, our junk just doesn't seem to work that well at all. And this is a subject that most guys, understandably, don't like to talk about. However, that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today. This is Lance Hitchings, and I'm back with another video about erectile dysfunction, or ED. Now, as you may recall, in my last video, I talked about the biology of an erection and the many causes of ED. In this video, I'm going to be addressing a variety of strategies aimed at putting this puppy to rest once and for all. There are a number of strategies that are available to every man that are relatively inexpensive and that work. And many of them are synergistic, meaning that if you try two or more of them, they work together synergistically to provide a benefit that is greater than the sum of the individual strategies. Now, for the purposes of this discussion, most of these cures fall into two categories. Either they work on the plumbing, which is a physiological problem located in your genitals, or they work on your libido, which is more of a mental problem and located in your brain. Or they work on both. So let's get started. Cure number one, lifestyle. Since the number one cause of erectile dysfunction is lifestyle, then understanding that the number one thing that you can do to improve your ED is to change your lifestyle is a no-brainer. I'm talking about learning to eat right and eating to gain muscle or to lose weight, eating to boost your testosterone, eating to optimize your hormonal health. Start working out. Start building your endurance and strength with a high-intensity interval training, with weightlifting, with core workouts, with flexibility workouts, and with mobility workouts. Get not only enough sleep, but also the right kind of sleep. Quit smoking and cut back on your alcohol consumption. I can't stress this enough. Shift your lifestyle over to one that not only supports your strategy to reverse your erectile dysfunction, but is also geared to make you healthier and to live longer. Cure number two, boost testosterone. Actually, the first two cures are no-brainers, since they're both just reversing trends that are causing erectile dysfunction. And naturally boosting your testosterone production is one of the best things that you can do to improve your ED. Study after study after study has shown that elevating your testosterone levels has a significant impact on both ED and on your libido. And there are a number of ways that you can do just this. Changing your diet is numero uno. Learn to eat to support your testosterone production. Now, I created several videos that will teach you how to do this. Start working out, but work out smart. If you want to boost your testosterone, you need to be working out in a manner that boosts your metabolism way up. Start doing high-intensity interval training. When you do resistance training, whether it's body weight workouts or lifting weights, keep the pace up. Lift heavier and keep your rest periods between sets to 30 seconds. Get lots of high-quality sleep and eliminate stress. Take supplements. Eliminate toxins, particularly endocrine disruptors. Check your prescriptions with your doctor and discuss whether or not you can substitute medications that are toxic to testosterone production with medications that are either neutral or actually support your testosterone production. Optimizing your testosterone levels will have a dramatic impact on your erectile dysfunction. When I started this little experiment to see if I could turn back the clock on aging about 1.5 years ago, I suffered quite profoundly from erectile dysfunction. And I had a testosterone level of 350 nanograms per deciliter using a lab that has a reference range of 264 to 919 nanograms per deciliter. Now, for those of you who don't know, a reference range is what a specific lab uses as normal based on the measuring system that they use. So for the lab that I use, anything below 264 nanograms per deciliter is considered below normal. Although, in all honesty, I personally believe that anything below 400 or 500 nanograms per deciliter is a cause for concern. For the same lab, anything over 919 nanograms per deciliter is considered above normal. Although, again, that range is usually reserved for guys like in their 20s. So at my last measurement, I had boosted my testosterone levels from a low of 350 nanograms per deciliter to a record high of 940 nanograms per deciliter. That's in excess of the highest level of testosterone in the reference range for the lab that I use. And the improvements that I have seen in my erectile dysfunction have mirrored the rise in my testosterone levels. Just saying. Okay, in third place are the big three medications that are most commonly prescribed for eliminating ED. And to be honest, cure number 3 is not that inexpensive. Viagra, or sildenafil as it's commonly called, that's a generic name for it, Levitra, or vardenafil, and Cialis, or tadalafil. Have a discussion with your doctor about your erectile dysfunction and see if one of these medications might be right for you. Now, all 3 of them are phosphodiesterase blockers, and they work on the plumbing. Now, if you recall from my last video on the causes of ED, phosphodiesterase is an enzyme that is naturally present in the smooth muscles of the erectile tissue and that breaks down cyclic GMP production, allowing the veins that permit the blood to flow out of the penis to open up, causing detumescence or the wilting of your erection. By blocking phosphodiesterase, cyclic GMP levels remain high and your erection stays firm. But which one should you take? Which one should you go with? Well, that depends. Viagra and Levitra are both absorbed more quickly by the body, within about an hour, while Cialis can take up to 2 hours to take effect. But more importantly, Viagra and Levitra only last about 6 to 8 hours, while Cialis can last for up to 36 hours. So, if you're planning on having sex in the next hour or so, then Viagra or Levitra would be a smart choice. But if, for instance, say you're planning on having sex over the weekend, but you don't know exactly when, then Cialis would be the better choice. A word of caution, however, depending on who you listen to, all 3 of these ED medications have an efficacy rate of between 33 and 66%, meaning that these medications only work on 1/3 to 2/3 of the male population. For many men, these medications just don't work. The other thing to take into consideration is that all 3 of these medications only work on the plumbing. And if your problem, or part of your problem, is your libido, then none of these will do you any good. But later in this video, I'll get to something that will. Cure number 4, blue pill replacement stack. Another strategy would be to replace prescription ED medications with an all-natural supplement. There's a replacement stack of amino acids that is recommended for ED, among other things. Now, I'll be doing a future video on this stack, its benefits, and how to take it. But in the meantime, the amino acids are L-arginine, L-tyrosine, L-orthanine, and citrulline malate. This stack is reported to not only improve ED better than the big 3 ED medications, but to also enhance libido and mood and to improve sensation. And best of all, it can be taken in conjunction with any of the other big 3 medications to provide a synergistic effect. Cure number 5, Bremelanotide, or PT141. Now, this is something that I'll bet not a lot of you have heard about before. It's a peptide called PT141, or Bremelanotide. Now, a peptide is just a string of various amino acids with few, if any, bad side effects. And it's apparently in final trials with the FDA and is expected to be released in the near future for ED, or sexual dysfunction, for both men and women. And it works differently than phosphodiesterase blockers. Rather than working directly on the penis by blocking phosphodiesterase that is released by the endothelial tissues of the penis, it works on the brain by increasing your libido. And preliminary tests are very, very encouraging. And best of all, because it's a simple peptide, the chemical components are well known and easily manufactured. So PT141 is widely available on the web and easy to order safely online. The one downside is that you have to inject it. You have to mix up the desiccated peptide with bacteriostatic water and then inject it into the skin over the stomach, just like an insulin injection. But PT141 can be taken synergistically with both the replacement stack and any of the big 3 prescription meds, or so I've heard. One reviewer that I've read stated that if the big 3 ED medications achieve a score of 20 out of a possible 100, and the replacement stack scores 30, then PT141 scores 90. Pretty impressive. Now, I'll be dedicating a video exclusively to PT141 in the near future, so be on the lookout for that. Cure number 6, cock ring. And in the final spot of things I actually recommend is a method for overcoming ED that is mechanical in nature. I'm talking about the erection ring, the tension ring, or in common parlance, the cock ring. Now, this is a ring that is worn around the base of the penis to prevent blood from flowing out of the penis, thereby extending the duration of an erection. They can be made from a variety of different materials, such as silicone or metal, and they come in a huge variety of different shapes and styles. There are types that are worn around the base of the penis and types that are made to be worn around both the penis and the testicles. Now, in extreme cases of ED, they can also be combined with a vacuum pump. The pump is placed over the penis, creating a vacuum around the outside of the penis. Now, this forces blood into the penis, causing it to swell, and an erection results. The cock ring is then placed at the base of the penis to hold the blood in. Later, when the ring is removed, the blood flows out of the penis and it returns to a relaxed state. A word of caution regarding cock rings. Under no circumstances should a cock ring be left on the penis for longer than 30 minutes. Holding the blood in place for longer than 30 minutes can cause damage to the tissues of the penis, making your ED much worse and potentially permanent. And nobody wants that. So no more than 30 minutes. Now, I'm going to talk about some strategies that, while they may improve ED, I don't really recommend. It's just a personal preference. But my discussion of ED remedies would be incomplete without mentioning them. Cure number 7, alprostadil. And the first of these is alprostadil. Now, this is a medication that is only used in extreme cases. Rather than a phosphodiesterase blocker, it's a vasodilator and causes blood to rush into the penis. And it is called MUSE for medicated urethral system for erections. And it comes in 2 forms. The first is a penile suppository, a pellet that is inserted directly into the urethra. Now, it's not easily used and has a number of contraindications, and it's painful to use. The other form is as a penile injection, where the alprostadil is injected directly into the tissues of the penis. Now, this method comes with a number of complications, such as scarring, prolonged erections, pain, and bleeding. I'm pretty sure I'd rather give up on sex rather than do either of these. Cure number 8, surgery. Then there's surgery, where a rod, a semi-rigid implant, or an inflatable implant is surgically embedded into the penis. Again, not something that I would ever choose to do. Cure number 9, herbal remedies. And finally, we come to herbal remedies. So here I'm talking about things like Panax ginseng, Rhodelia rosea, DHEA, ashwagandha, cordyceps, and maca. And while it's not an herb, acupuncture. Now, I've tried most, if not all, of these methods, and I personally didn't find any of them to be of any particular value in treating my erectile dysfunction. But that's just me, and I can only report on my own personal experience. Any of these might work for you. So give them a try, see how they work. Your experience might be different than mine. So there you have it. My recommendations for remedies that can possibly reverse or even cure erectile dysfunction. Now, what do I personally do? Well, first, I've radically changed my lifestyle to support both my erectile dysfunction and my testosterone levels. I've boosted my testosterone levels significantly, and those two things alone appreciably improved my ED. Not back to the levels where I was when I was in my 20s, but more than halfway back. So I also use one of the big three ED medications combined with both the replacement stack and the PT-141. And believe me when I tell you, I am more than satisfied with the results. I hope that this video has provided you with some valuable information and that maybe, just maybe, you've learned something that you didn't already know. If so, then please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, share it with your friends and on your social media, and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video, which should be every Tuesday. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Till next time.